Hi, this is Dr. Cora Stack here. I want to just talk about the recent Sinn Féin support of Miss Catherine Connolly. They were making out to be a game changer, and I think they had different plans maybe, and they changed their mind at the last minute. But let me make the following points here about Miss Connolly, who I have actually great time for her, but because of her, there is a lacking in some of her advocacy, which I think is to do with her legal affiliations and background. I strongly admire her in many ways, but this is something that it's all in this concept that I'm trying to understand now called legal capture. So the title is Connoly, Sinn Féin and What's Missing: Justice, Unity and Real Change. Hi everybody, today I want to respond to the breaking news. Sinn Féin has decided at the very last minute to back Catherine Connolly in the presidential election. This is significant. It reshapes the campaign, but it always raises serious questions about what's being said and what's being left unsaid. What Sinn Féin's support means. Sinn Féin says they're backing Connoly to give voters a real alternative to Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. They're highlighting fairness, neutrality, human rights and Irish unity. That sounds encouraging, and many of these themes echo what I've been saying for a long time. It shows there's a strong appetite for change. But sharing values is not the same as sharing priorities. We need to look closely at the gaps in that message. Two issues stand out for me. Access to justice with the squeezed middle. Right now, if you are just above the threshold for legal aid, but you can't afford private legal fees, you're effectively locked out of justice. That's thousands of families in housing disputes, employment cases, or family law battles. That justice gap is real, yet it hasn't been addressed in Connolly's or Sinn Féin statements or manifestos. Alternative dispute resolution. Courts are slow, expensive and intimidating. Arbitration and mediation could be faster, cheaper and fairer, but again, there hasn't been brought into the conversation. Without reform, too many people will keep being priced out of justice. If we're serious about fairness, these are not optional extras, they are essential. Part 2, unity versus Good Friday Agreement. There's another big difference between Catherine Connolly's new position and mine. To secure Sinn Féin support, Connolly is now saying she wants to see an All-Ireland within 10 years. I have to be honest, I don't see it as realistic. I've said that, not because I oppose unity, because I stand by the Good Friday Agreement. Unity must be achieved by consent, not by deadlines. And let's face the facts, the South has urgent problems. Our public health service is struggling. Long waiting list, exhausted staff, poor infrastructure. I mean, the state of some of the hospitals, no wonder all the doctors are going away, because the state of them are pips, you could call some of them. Sorry, but that's the way they are. Housing remains in crisis. People can't afford to buy a house, and their public transport, digital infrastructure, schools all remain under strain. Not a mind about the weather. Well, there isn't very much we can do about that. Before we talk about constitutional deadlines, we need to fix these fundamentals. Otherwise, unity risks being a slogan rather than a serious path forward. So while I welcome the energy around Catherine Connolly's campaign, I believe we need more. We need a commitment to access to justice with the squeezed middle, which you will not get with people with legal backgrounds because of the privilege that they're connected with. In my opinion, I mean, I've done a search on her, and she's talked about everything except access to justice. We need to make arbitration and mediation real alternatives to court. This is my big thing. And we need to stick by the Good Friday Agreement, building trust, solving real problems, and creating a country that people in the North would want to join. That is, to me, the path of responsibility, fairness, and real change. And that so-and-so in Gaul was a right so-and-so. It was a right so-and-so. Who was he talking to? Well, who was he talking to? Well, he left the cat out of the bag anyway. So, they picked the wrong plant. So anyway, there you go. I still don't know who's in that ring, and so I still can't say for definite, who is behind the blocking of the independence by Mr. Simon House. I can't say for definite, but I have major concerns. Thank you.